Yeah, listen, I emerged from a land of broken promises, fatherless, but my mama provided us with the will to be dominant. So I'm confident I profited off of people that paid me no mind. I chose DJing since no label would pay me to rhyme. Destined to turn doubt into dollars. I doubted that college would help excel me to accomplish all the things that I conquered. In 92 I drew graffiti on notebooks with my markers. Look at me now, leaving my mark on my market.
Podcast, episode 30. And we are super excited today to have our guest, Lonnie B, heavy hit in the building. But before we get into him, we want to make sure we go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor for today. Today's sponsor is my wife, Dr. Mia Fripps. She just got recognized in Style Weekly magazine as being one of the top 5 doctors in Richmond in optometry. So I definitely want to shout out Short Pump Family Eye Care. If you need to get your vision in check, please go see Dr. Mia Fripps at Short Pump Family Eye Care. This podcast is being brought to you on all podcast channels. However, we encourage you to go to YouTube to check it out because we do provide a visual. This is a Randolph-focused production with the support of Dabo Productions and Too Tall Visuals. So if you need any production in the Richmond area or beyond, because we are mobile, we are willing to travel, you definitely need to check out Randolph Focus. Again, this is episode 30. We are sitting down today with the heavy hitter, DJ Lonnie B.
Yes.
Let's get into that intro, okay? Because I'm definitely working on, being the Virginia Sway version of the intro,
Yeah.
all right?
Let's go.
The heavy hitter DJ Lonnie B's innovative style has made him a household name in not only his hometown of Richmond, but up and down the East Coast. He's really known all over the world. He is a heavy hitter. With more than 20 years in the music industry, his accolades include being a founding partner of the 804 Flavor label, an explosive member of the rap group Super Friends, which afforded him the opportunity to rap on stage with artists such as Aaliyah and catch the attention of veteran rappers like Dougie Fresh and Jay-Z. Known widely for his Art and Noise events with thousands of attendees, this urban music historian seamlessly transforms these events from an old school hip-hop and R&B into a celebration of music that includes all genres that the average listener doesn't get to experience at traditional parties. With phenomenal mentors, which include DJ Jazzy Jeff, and drawing inspiration from some of his favorite MCs like Jay-Z, Nas, and Redman, DJ Lonnie B is a dominant force with a dedicated and loyal following. He commands the airwaves in the City of Richmond as both the mix show coordinator and a primetime DJ for Radio 1's ipower 92.1. I want to add in this intro that one of the most impressive things about the heavy hitter is that he is a very proud father, husband, and he's incorporated that into his brand. Unless in the, you may see Lonnie in the rabbit hole with his wife, so I think that's very commendable because I think you're modeling something. I was telling you before we got ready for the interview that with the Meet the Battles, I almost see a reality show on the rise. I feel like.
I didn't think that far, but it could happen.
Hey,
and
man.
I think it's dope that you said that the podcast is brought to everybody, because of your wife. I thought that was real dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, well, because I know that there's going to be 1 million people that's going to follow this show today because we got a heavy hit on it. I figure I need to go ahead and maximize and allow, the wife to get some credit today.
No doubt, man.
So, Lonnie, thanks for being on the show.
It's an honor, man. I've been watching you do your thing, and, I definitely got to say I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? I think what people might not know is when you first started your podcast, I seen you was doing something. I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
But I called you and just gave you a pointer on it.
Yeah.
And, now you just took it and ran with it.
Yeah, that was a big deal to me, too,
Yeah.
because just to see that you recognize and people are paying attention. I was in Philly shooting a show with my brother, and there was a light behind us.
Yeah.
And you asked me, you said, hey, I know you're a smart brother. Maybe you know something I don't know, but was that intentional? And I was like, nah, we wasn't even thinking about it. Yeah. And just a setup of how we got ready today, it's been an experience in getting prepared and making sure that, we ain't got unnecessary things on the table, and it's just been part of the process. So I definitely appreciate you reaching out. We at episode 30 now.
Yeah, that's major.
I think I'm glad to see that we've got to a point of where you've agreed to be on the show, for sure. So before we get into this interview, there may be a lot of people in our audience that's not familiar with what a heavy hitter is. Mm-hmm. I know what a heavy hitter is. A lot of people do, but can you speak to that a little bit for our audience who may not be familiar? Because you're the only heavy hitter in Virginia.
Wrong?
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, but go ahead. You can go ahead. You can go ahead and introduce that.
Yeah. So first off, the other heavy hitter in Virginia is my daughter. Who was just inducted into the crew.
Yep.
January this year.
Shout out to Aaliyah.
Yeah. But to be a heavy hitter, you have to be, without a doubt, one of the biggest DJs in your market. So it's not even something that you can really apply for. You know, you have to be nominated, and people have to check your credentials in check. You know what I'm saying? Check your brand in your market. You know what I'm saying? So I became a heavy hitter. It had to have been like around 03, 04. And yeah, the rest is history, man. But you without a doubt, you got to be one of the biggest DJs in your market.
Well, I think that if I recall going through, just going through all the different interviews, you started DJing seriously in 10th grade. Is that correct?
Started DJing serious. Well, I started DJing, messing around with it 9th grade. I DJed the senior prom my 10th grade year.
Yeah, because I was comparing. Your daughter started like a year before you.
Yes.
Correct?
Well, she started a lot younger than me because I didn't get my first turntables until I graduated from high school. It was like the January after I graduated from school. She had turntables in her room when she was in middle school.
It's impressive. And I was watching an interview with her and you on Coffee with Strangers with Kelly Lemon.
Yeah.
And Kelly asked, do you think you'll be better than your dad? And she was very confident and bold. But I'm sure that you planted that in her.
Yeah, but that's what I expect. The money that she's making at 15 years old is the money that I started to see when I was like 20.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I want her to feel like she's going to be better than me. I want her to be better than me.
Well, I think it's fair also to say, and I'm going to say this on her behalf.
Yeah.
You just said that to be a heavy hitter, you have to be one of the most established DJs. And there may be a lot of people out there looking and say they've been DJing for years, but they're not a heavy hitter. But the difference between her and them is that she is doing something at an age that, she's the future. Yeah. And at her age, she's able to touch a demographic that we're not so easily able to touch. She's whipped that scene. The middle school kids, she knows what they like.
Yeah, so that's key. One of the conversations that I had with Enough, we've been talking about it for the longest. In order for us to make sure that the crew has the longevity that it should have, we got to get younger blood in the crew. And the unique thing about my daughter is not only is she a DJ, but a lot of the music that comes out now, I'm not afraid to say I'm not the biggest fan of it, but as a DJ, it's not my job to play what I like. It's my job to play what the people like. So she's able to tell me, like, Dad, you need to make sure you have this in your crate because she's living. Yeah, she's that. Yeah. So
that's how I feel the same way as a podcaster. Yeah. My mom sometimes gets disappointed with me when she hears people up here, speaking, why they need a little church or something. But I tell her, Mom, it's not about me. Yeah. It's not about me in a situation when someone chooses to express themselves. The interview is really about the person and the demographic that they're reaching, and sometimes that can cross over and impact others in a positive way as well. So,
most definitely.
So congratulations to Aaliyah. I know you're watching this because your dad's on the show. definitely proud of you, and definitely look to work with you also in the future. It's clearly an honor. I would imagine that this is historic within the heavy hitter community because she's probably the youngest ever. Even though I've seen some other younger people come in with this group, she's probably the youngest ever. I imagine.
She's the youngest heavy hitter, and she's the second generation. She's the first child of a heavy hitter to become a heavy hitter.
Wow. Lonnie, as a DJ and an artist, what do you pride yourself on the most in how you approach your work?
As an artist, it's always been honesty. You know what I'm saying? I've always made sure whatever I write down or whatever I record in the booth is a representation of my life for real. The one thing I tell a lot of people, even though I've never really released a major project, I was never on a major label, but one thing about the music that I've written is if God forbid something ever happens to me, the people that know me can go back and listen to that music and say, no, that was really him. And the people that don't know me can listen to my music and kind of get inside, like get deeper than what you might see face value. Yeah. So,
and I'm gonna speak to some of those songs today. A couple of them particularly. Oh, wow. There's a couple of them that you have. There's two. I've been in Richmond almost 17 years, so I really wasn't here in preview to knowing the impact of the Super Friends personally. Yeah. But there's a couple songs that you've been on since then that stand out to me, and I'm gonna get to those. It impressed me because I didn't know about the rapper. When I heard you on DJ Enough,
Yeah.
I learned. And then when I heard the verse that you did, I guess the remix of Aaliyah's song, I knew.
Now, so the funniest thing is there's people that know Lonnie B as a rapper that didn't know that he was a DJ, and there's people that know Lonnie B the DJ that didn't know that he was a rapper.
Come on, everyone know you a DJ now, though.
I mean now, but like there's people like legendary DJ Clark Kent.
Okay,
producer.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. So once upon a time, Clark Kent wanted to sign me to a record deal. Back then, he didn't really know that I was a DJ. He just knew me as the guy that traveled with mad skills.
Okay.
Yeah. So to this day, Clark Kent would tell anybody that he is a great rapper that knows how to DJ.
So did you transition in? So, I mean, what came first, the chicken or the egg with you? Like, was you a DJ first or an artist first?
I'm trying to remember. I think I started rapping first.
Yeah.
I started rapping first.
What was the motivation to DJ?
To DJ, I love hip hop. I take that back. I DJ first. I started DJing first, and then I started rapping. The reason that I used to DJ first because a lot of my friends used to rap, and being around them is so easy when everybody's rapping for me to say I'm the DJ because I don't have equipment and I don't have to prove that. So it's real easy to kind of get out of the whole thing. But DJ Drake, I would have to give Drake the credit because loving hip hop, watching people like Run DMC, UTFO had a DJ named Mixmaster Ice. All of these DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. You see all these guys doing the DJ thing. It wasn't until I met Drake that I realized that there was somebody this close to me that actually does that. And it just showed me how possible it was for me if I really wanted to do it. So,
yeah. Okay. Let's get back to family. Obviously, your family is a priority for you.
Yeah.
You are a public figure. You're a model within the community. What advice do you have for men on keeping a healthy balance, particularly men that's in similar positions as you, as artists or entrepreneurs? Or what advice do you have for them, and particularly those who have children? Because I think that's one of the things about you that, at this point in your career, to me, that stands out the most.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that you're a DJ, but I think people recognize you as a family man.
Yeah. It's hard to really. I'll just say that I was blessed enough to have the longevity to where doing what I'm doing now makes sense. I think earlier in my career, I was so caught up in the hustle and bustle of trying to make it happen, of trying to build the brand, to be in the place that I'm in now. So, as much as I love my family, sometimes when I look back on my life, I probably could have spent a little bit more time back then. But because I'm blessed enough now, number one. Number two is another major thing was when I got sick. When I got sick, you look at life from a different lens.
Yeah.
And I really realized what was important and what wasn't. So if I had to give anybody any advice, don't wait until you get to that point. Don't wait until you're sick to realize how important, your family is.
Yeah.
Which, let me say, I knew my family was important before I got sick, so I didn't want that line to say.
Yeah, but it was a chain. It was something. It impacted your life, obviously.
Most definitely. I mean, I've DJed a lot of parties in my life. DJed a lot of parties in the city. Sold out a lot of parties in the city. And when I found out that I got cancer, you would think that, my phone would be blowing up and people would be checking on you. But more people talked about me having cancer than
talk to you.
Yeah, talk to me to make sure I was good. The time frame between finding out that I had cancer and waiting for the results was probably the loneliest time in my life. You know what I'm saying? But the one blessing was having my wife, because my wife was there beside me. I was in the bed. I really couldn't do much. She laid there in that bed with me. We laid there. I remember playing like the iPhone games and all that stuff. I promise you, man, I was at such a peaceful place at that moment. If that was the end, they could have rolled the credits and it would have been a perfect ending for me. You know what I'm saying? So, but I say that to say, man, it was a hard pill to swallow when I thought back, like, damn, you would think that more people would reach out to you and all those other things. So it's really important to have a lady in your life, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because she was the main reason why I went to the doctor. So.
Yeah. Well, shout out to her, man. What's your wife's name?
Leah.
Leah Battle. Shout out to her. Speaking, while we're on family, I don't know if you know this, probably don't, but your Uncle Roy, okay, is my Uncle Junie's, Collins Howard, like, best friend.
Wow, really? Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen Uncle Roy at a lot of family functions, and man, he is, like, when you post about him sometimes, like, I've heard him. I've
Yeah.
seen him. He's extremely intelligent and funny.
Yeah.
He knows how to use humor in an interesting way, and so I just wanted to
Now
share that
Uncle
connection
Roy,
with you.
my Uncle Roy is probably one of the most
He be dropping game.
influential people in my life. Like my father and my mom separated when I was 6, so my father wasn't around. So my uncles, I have an uncle named Roy, Rodney, Victor, another uncle named Michael, and on my daddy's side Ulysses. But Roy was probably the one that spent the most time giving me game. The dope thing about Roy is Roy was a gangster, man. Like he was in the streets, he got locked up, he did time in jail. Like so, for him to be able to give me all of the game from the street side, and that's kind of what made me the man that I am. I can be on the corner and talk street to the street people, but then go sit down and talk to the mayor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that balance is definitely something that I would definitely credit him for giving me.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that up because when we break this video down, I want to make that connection so that people in the family can also get their shine as well.
Yeah.
What would you consider your highest achievement in your career? And I know that you could say your family. You could say,
You know I was going there.
yeah, you could say your family. You could say overcoming, the cancer. I mean, it's a lot of things, but musically.
Musically, if I had to say anything, it would probably be the longevity, man.
Yeah.
I started DJing in '89, and here we are in 2020.
Yeah.
And my story isn't the story of what I used to be. I still can tell the story of what I am
Yeah.
right now. So to reinvent myself and rebrand myself, over the different decades, man, to still be here is probably the biggest accomplishment.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people that was DJing when I started that's no longer around or doing it, right now.
So you've seen a lot of changes in your career as a DJ. Before the show, we were talking about. I feel like there was a time before where DJs had more of a pivotal role in breaking new artists, but with the internet now, it seems to be a little different. I'm curious on your view on that, and I'm also curious when we talk about Virginia, particularly.
Okay.
I want to compare a little bit, only because I was recently in the 757, and I've been doing a lot of stuff in the 757, particularly just because it seems like when you go other places and you create momentum and energy, then Richmond decides to jump on.
Yeah.
In the 757, there's music bumping artists from the 757. I ain't been in a club in a minute in Richmond, but it just doesn't seem that we have that as much here. So I'm curious if you can share any.
No, I definitely think, I'm not in the club as much myself. Well, I take that back. What you got to realize is you got to understand who your target audience is and what's your target demographic. So a lot of the new music that's coming out right now, if you go back and look at the things that I'm doing right now with the Art of Noise and the pop-up parties and things like that, a lot of my stuff is more retro than it is breaking a lot of new music. So you wouldn't expect to see a new artist in Richmond performing on the Art of Noise stage, because that's not what it is. So when artists come in to ask me that, it's like you don't understand who your target audience is. Just like if someone was bringing Yo Gotti to Richmond and they were playing at the National, I don't know if I would be the first choice, even though I have a huge following. And yes, my following, some of them appreciate Yo Gotti, but I can think of a million other street DJs and club DJs where it would make more sense. So understanding the target demographic. So with that being said, I'm not in the clubs that would play the music as much, but I'm almost positive that they do.
Why do you not go to those clubs anymore? Are you just done with? Are you done with the main? Like, would you play the main stage?
Depends on what it is. I have no.
Back in the day when it was the Cotton Club, you was on.
Because that was my crowd.
Yeah.
Another thing about the place that I'm in right now, when you're a DJ coming up, you gotta do what you gotta do to get that check. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what type of party it is, you got to do what you got to do to get that check. I've been blessed enough to be put in a position where I can pick and choose. Like, I don't have to do that party if I don't want to, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So because I'm in that position, I choose to say I'd rather see the DJs in that demographic take that up. I don't have to be the Lonnie B of my daughter's demographic. You know what I'm saying? I'm good being the old head in my lane.
I got you.
Yeah.
Do you deal with a lot of people still pressing you on playing their music?
A lot. I mean, sometimes I hear more stories about me not doing it than, people actually approaching me. And I think it's unfortunate because one thing about me, I've always been an open book. Being a young black man that graduated from high school, that mom couldn't afford to send him to college, and understand that if I hustle and I do this and I do this, it'll put me in a position that I'm in right now. I would love to share that with anybody in the community because I feel like everybody deserves to be able to live a life where you do something that you love, because to wake up and organize music or make mixes, I don't feel like I work, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So any rapper, any producer, any DJ that ever wanted advice from me, more than likely if they ever approached me in a respectful manner, I probably gave them all of the advice that they probably needed. Unfortunately, sometimes they camouflage looking for advice with, they only want me to play their music. So regardless, I can give you all the advice in the world. If I don't play your music, you don't care about nothing that I just said to you. And that's the unfortunate part about the local scene. Another thing I'll say about the local scene, which is unfortunate and that I've noticed, is you hear a lot of people say or try to blame the DJs and blame the radio for not supporting local hip-hop. They don't support local music. When really, I think in most cases, I'm not going to say in all cases, in most cases what they really mean is the radio and the DJs are not supporting me. Because if you put 10 artists in front of me right now, and they all have this argument that radio does not support local artists, and I play 8 of them, 8 of them will be like, yo, radio is the bomb, they looking out. But the other 2 will still say Richmond radio does not support local artists because we're not supporting them. They won't be happy that the other 8 are played because they'll still feel like they're not getting the same love.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. And so, I mean, you're a human being at the end of the day. How does that, and you love your city. How does that have an impact on you from in any emotional way?
Not at all.
No?
Nah, I mean, because, again, at this point, like, I've dedicated, over 30 years of my life to hip-hop, to representing Richmond. I'm like you said earlier, man, I'm more focused on my family. Like, while everybody else is chasing that I want to be a rapper dream, which to them, you follow your dreams, chase your dreams. Like, I'm more focused on watching my son and tossing the ball back and forth with my son.
Yeah.
Spending time with my wife.
Yeah.
I don't. If I have a night off, you ask why don't I go to the club? Because I'd rather do something with my wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to have thick skin, and everybody's going to have an opinion.
Going back, has there ever been a time that you've been intentional on trying to break an artist?
I think the only time intentional on breaking them, there's been artists, songs that I've heard that I've said, yo, we need to play this. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the most memorable ones that I wasn't connected to. Like, and even then, like, I think the only record I ever played out of our crew might have been the Joe Doja Caddy Man. Mm-hmm. But Booty Bounce.
Yeah.
Booty Bounce by J Mac. I remember J Mac, I remember rapping on a mixtape with him. The first time I heard him, he was, for people that don't know, before he was doing like the southern rap stuff, he was like a young Cannabis, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard him, I was like, I want to do this mixtape with me and you rapping back to back. We did it. We were cool. We lost contact. One day I came across his MySpace page, and I heard that song. I was like, yo, bro, this is a hit. I need this. Mm-hmm. He sent it to me. I started playing on the radio, and, the rest was history.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with that song.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, man, that had to have been 06, 07, maybe?
Yeah,
around that time. And so that was around the time, in my opinion, I started to see the local scene shift. Like, the Super Friends was the Super Friends, but when you start talking about that, you start talking about the Ruins. Ruin was doing her thing, the Southside Superstar, GMGB, Disco Ball. You know what I'm saying? So there's a whole new, group of people that's taking the shine or taking local hip-hop and putting it on their back. You know what I'm saying? So even during that time, I never understood why people kept bringing the Super Friends up, because there's a whole new team that's running things now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I would imagine that you compete with yourself
all the time.
And looking to be the best version of yourself every day.
Yeah.
Every time you're in a space creating, you're looking to reinvent yourself to be the best version of yourself that you can be.
Yeah.
Outside of yourself, who are people that you can identify that inspire and motivate you to be the best, to be better?
Inspire me to be better. not as in a competition. I don't want to make it seem as though I'm looking to be better than them.
Yeah.
DJ Jazzy Jeff is such an inspiration to me and so many other people. Like, when I first met Jazzy Jeff, if you're a DJ, you know the myth of the Jazzy Jeff hard drive. Everybody wanted Jazzy Jeff's hard drive when they started using Serato, and it was floating around. When I got my hands on it, I thought it was the best thing ever. Well, one day I was in Atlantic City with Skills, and I got a chance to meet Jazzy Jeff. The next day, he invited me to his house. When I was sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm about to sit down and get more music and trade music with Jazzy Jeff, but we got so caught up in talking about life, I forgot and didn't even care about the music, and that's every time I get around him. So he inspires me as a husband, he inspires me as a father, he inspires me as a DJ, as a businessman.
Yeah.
So he's probably at the top of the list of the people that inspire me, that's in the industry, for sure.
Okay. All right. Let's talk Art of Noise.
All right.
How do you approach identifying the guest artist now that you all are featuring in your acts? How do you go about that?
It's almost like DJing. Like, for me to bring an artist, I think to myself, if I play this song by this artist, how is the crowd going to respond? If I know that they're going to respond that way if he's not there or she's not there, I can only imagine what it'll be when they are there. Then I start to think, all right, well, how many songs does this person have? Because if you've attended the Art of Noise, there are some people who I might bring that might only have one song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Like Rage with her Afro Puffs.
Yeah, well, I haven't brought Rage. I wanted to bring Rage. Yeah.
You didn't bring Rage?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, I haven't brought Rage off.
Because you're a Virginia artist, Farmville, I think, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I remember bringing Drez from Black Sheep, and it's crazy. I met
Yeah.
Drez at Jazzy Jeff's crib, and I know he wanted to come and do some of his new stuff, but I was like, you know, this might not be the place to do it. Like, if you give me some of the stuff, I'll help you do whatever I can do for you in the market. But on this stage, come out, do the choice is yours,
Yeah.
and then roll. And I guarantee you, you're going to leave the crowd on the high. You'll appreciate me telling you that. So he did it. I'm not going to name names, but there was a couple artists who came, and I gave them the same advice, but they chose to do some other stuff. And when they came out and did the stuff that people knew, it was a high point. Then when they did the other stuff, it kind of went down. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that I think the audience of the Art of Noise, they're coming because of what it was built off of.
Yeah, they're coming because it's.
We don't want to hear your new music.
Yeah, number one, that and is deeper than the artist. The artist portion of the Art of Noise might last 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops. It's a 5-hour party, so it's no reason. There's no way in my mind that I'm gonna think that they're only coming to see who the surprise guest is. It's more of a musical journey.
Yeah.
And the thing I love the most about it, it's not just a hip hop musical journey. I could play Madonna, I could play Stevie Wonder, I could play Jay-Z, I could play Pastor Troy. So,
Yeah.
But if you know it, you vibe with it. If you don't know it, you're open-minded enough to, you know, ride with the energy.
What can we see? We in the 2020 year of vision. I've kind of coined that. You know, again, my wife's an eye doctor, so I thought about that as we started this new year. What can we see new of the Art of Noise in 2020? Are you all planning to continue to go out of state and travel? Because I've seen you all in Philly. You've been in
So far we've
North
done
Carolina.
Yeah, we've done New York, we've done Philly, we've done DC, Richmond, of course, Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte.
Got you.
Yeah.
You going to continue to expand it?
Yeah. I'm looking at there's a couple other places coming up. We definitely want to do Atlanta. You know, I definitely want to go LA and try it out there.
Yeah.
Want to go back to New York and do it again.
Yeah, well, definitely congratulations for what you all are doing with Art of Noise.
Thank you, man.
It is the biggest party in Richmond for sure, and I'm imagining it's arguably competitive throughout the whole state of Virginia.
Yeah. But I appreciate it, man. Now, it's humbling. Like, and we never did it for the money, which is why I don't have a problem with spending the money on the artists. It was always about the experience. So imagine doing a party that started off with 100 people.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing ever. Then it goes from 100 people to 150, 150 to 500.
Yeah.
Then one day it was 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And when I counted how much money came in from it, it was crazy. So you would think that you would keep doing it so you can make that money, but I was like, because I didn't do it for the money, let's take half of this money and pay for this artist. So when he comes out, people are going to lose their mind. And never raise the price regardless. Some of the artists I might have paid $1,000 to, some of the artists I might have paid $15,000 to.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of how much I pay for the artist, I never tax the consumer for it because I'm really doing it for them and not for the money.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Is the being the curator, the owner of the Art of Noise, is there any future visions with how you can collaborate with other, let's say, big businesses? You know what I'm saying? To do maybe a festival. Like say you partner with Dominion and then y'all just shut down Browns Island and now you're talking about 10,000.
Yeah, that's always been a vision of mine. Outdoor Art of Noise has always been a vision of mine.
You did 2 Street.
And I was about to say, like, I definitely want to show them love because they were the first ones to put us on that type of platform. And it was like 6,000 people out there. You know what I'm saying?
I really rock with Venture Richmond.
Yeah.
I'd like to do something with them. Like,
they're great people. Like,
yeah.
Very, I could probably connect you with them. They're very great people.
I think just within my personality and skill set, I'm not talking about public. I'm talking about like I am really into the organization and planning of public events.
Yeah.
So I just think that they do it probably the best in Richmond.
Biggest and best. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just kind of threw that out there, man. Lately, man, everything I say is happening.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, I'm sorry. Everything's happening. I'm just saying it. So I hope to see you guys on Browns Island.
Well, now it's coming. I mean, this past Art of Noise, we actually had our first official sponsor, which was the Virginia Lottery.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying, when you start,
that's an official sponsor. The lottery.
Yeah. Shout out to Kelly. You know, because Kelly is definitely one of the people that pulled the number. So it was inspirational to see that they believed in the brand enough. Humbling to see that they believed in the brand enough to put that money up. So
yeah, shout out to Kelly. You know, I sit back. I observe. I observe. I'm sure my friends are saying it's good that you don't speak on as many things as you think. But what I see with you and Kelly that I think is valuable is that in watching you all over the years with the relationship and the collaboration, what I've seen you all do, I've seen you all leverage each other out. I've seen both of your brands grow. Hers first off on behalf of your Richmond Foundation. She's not from Richmond originally. I mean, she's from the area, but I feel like watching from the outside in, she's grown, and a lot of it has to do with your foundation. But on the flip side, I've seen you grow
because of her,
and because of her. You know, like it's interesting. You know, it's a good balance.
The thing about Kelly and I, we've both believed in each other before all of this. So before I knew Kelly, you know, she's just seemed like the dopest person in the room before I even got a chance to know her. So for us to connect was definitely a dope thing. I'm sure that when we started doing things together, there were people who may have seen her and not known her that now they're introduced to her. And just as many people in Kelly's world that you know might have seen or heard about me, but because of our relationship, like you say, it balances each other out. That's truly like my sister, man. Like even though she's my business partner, you know, before any of that, man, like that's really, you know, like my sister, man.
I know the station's coming. I know you all are business partners. Have you ever, throughout your DJ career, wanted to spend more time on this side of the mic?
No.
Never been interested in that?
No, I think that's the reason why I've never had the desire to be a program director, music director at the radio station, because more than likely, if I did that, I would have to be an on-air personality. And I think when you asked me earlier about the whole rap thing, I'm too real with myself to be able to come in. If I'm having a messed up day, I couldn't come in and sound like I'm having, you know, the best day ever, and we're going to have the best day ever. I'm going to sound like I'm having a messed up day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's good in the radio world. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let's just not even explore that.
So everyone, Kelly started it on the internet. Spin 100 is coming.
Yeah.
We're waiting. We talked before. You're waiting. You're perfecting it.
Yeah.
Is it just going to be music, or is it going to be some? Can you speak to any of that right now?
It's going to definitely be driven by the music, but it's going to be more lifestyle. It's going to be a little bit of everything. For me, I've been doing radio in Richmond for 22 years, and I just feel like if I took away Lonnie B, the rapper, Lonnie B, the DJ, I don't know if there's anywhere that's giving me what I would want as a consumer that grew up in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. I don't know if someone is giving me that playlist or that balance of music that I would want. So I'm just trying to create it. If nobody else appreciates it, it'll be something I can ride around in my car and listen to. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm sure it's going to be
as well as being able to have the conversations that I would want to have or that we would want to have in the community or whatever. On radio, everything is just so programmed, so you can't talk but for this long, you can't do
Yeah.
this. I might want to sit down with you on Spin and just have this conversation and be able to say, tune in tonight at 8 o'clock because we talking about blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I definitely look forward to that. I know that I think the whole city's looking forward to it, and I have a hard time seeing you hold that back much longer with Kelly. Kelly pumped in on her story like that.
One thing about me, I'm a perfectionist, man. I feel like you got one time. Your first impression is everything. And to be honest, I actually launched it last year, MLK weekend, because I remember, coming with the whole dream. This was a dream of mine. Bam, it's here. Yeah. But it was more out of pressure than it was me being ready. So after it played for a while, I thought to myself, this was premature. I did it too soon. I pulled it back. We didn't even have the studio at that point. You know what I'm saying? So this time I'm gonna make sure when I push play on it, I'm really ready.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. Spin 100. You all go follow that. It's the Instagram page out there right now.
Spin 100 FM. Yeah.
Make sure y'all tune into that because it's coming. So let me speak to the music, okay?
Okay.
And we're kind of closing in here in the last, we got about 15 minutes here.
All right.
In the beginning of the interview, I told you there was a couple songs that when I think about Lonnie B, the rapper, they tell me that this brother can rap.
Yeah.
The first song that I want to speak of is on Radio B's album. It's on Radio B Whole Foods album.
Yeah.
You had the first verse.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but do you want to share some of those words?
I don't even remember it. Like,
oh my goodness, that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
I got it. I could play it. I'm not gonna play it, but that was first. So you started out, and then I think Michael comes in, and I think Nick comes in, and then Radio comes in.
Closes out, yeah. And for me, I know it was a couple different versions of that everybody rapping over that beat.
I made my mark on my market. It's just some certain bar. I was just like,
yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Around that time I had just found out that I had, was beat cancer and I was good in that space. So I was just, when I listened to that verse, I can tell that verse and the verse from Skills album,
Made in Virginia.
Yeah,
that was it. That was the second one. That one there, that just basically. I mean, I think we'd like to hear more rap from you. To be honest with you,
it's actually I had a conversation with somebody that I really respect that was saying the same thing to me yesterday, and I think I'm in a place where I got a lot to say. And again, I think the difference between me as an artist, if I wrote a song and I released a song and I put it out and 10 people heard it and appreciate it, I'm good. I don't care who, I don't care how many hundreds of thousands or millions didn't hear it. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful for the people that chose to sit there through that 3 minutes and listen to it. So it's something that might happen. The Skills record was crazy because before I found out that I was sick, this was actually, do you remember which year Clef passed away? I don't remember exactly what year it was.
I don't remember the exact year.
But I remember sitting outside in that alley where his mural is. Yeah. And Skills was playing a whole bunch of beats that he had. And he played that beat for me. I was like, yo, this beat is so dope, yo. And that was the end of the conversation. I ended up getting sick. Then I think Skills was working on his project. And he said, yo, I got the perfect song for us to do together. I like, send me the track. He sent it. And it was that joint. I was just like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so even...
So you knew... So we on the same wavelength for that one, because that was the other song.
Yeah.
That was the other song that... I think it's called Made in Virginia, and I think the album's called Made in Virginia. Is the song Made in Virginia?
Yeah, Made in Virginia.
Yeah. You're playing GM, coach, executive... You're playing a lot of roles right now in your life on behalf of yourself as well as your family. What goals do you have for 2020? What are we gonna see with Lonnie B in 2020? Because you're continuing to reinvent.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't even know if I know yet. I think my goal is to just make sure that it's better than what it was yesterday. It's better than what it was in 2019.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you get in a position like I've been blessed to be in, sometimes it's easy to get comfortable. You can put things on cruise control when you feel like, you're in the lead or you're in a good place. But I'm never comfortable with that. I always want more.
Yeah, somebody asked me today, I was across the street, they say, Randy, what's the end goal with this podcasting? I said, I don't have an end goal. I said, the fact that you're talking about it,
the
fact that people are talking about it, the fact that I'm enjoying it and I'm having fun. Every time I do a podcast with someone, it opens up a new door to a new relationship, to a new opportunity. But at the end of the day, it's fun.
Yeah.
And we have compatibility and interest and synergy right now. Hopefully, it will create and open some doors. You know, my goal is to be. It's not so much to me about the podcast as it's about people seeing my approach toward engaging in conversation. Mm-hmm. So whether we facilitating discussions, speaking, that to me is where I'm finding fun in 2020.
You know, to your credit, man, like sitting here on this podcast, it's probably the first time that I've ever felt like, yo, I'm really on a show. Like I'm on somebody's show. Like the way that you're branding it is genius. So again, man, much love and respect to you for what you're doing.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. So we see you guys, the heavy hitters, out in these different places every year. Y'all do these annual retreats.
Yeah.
This past year, you and the drink champ Noriega was on the same team doing something. I don't know what it was because you posted something on your page where I think he was pouring you a drink and he said, "Yeah, Lonnie and I drink together and now we team together, we win together." What is it like being with Noriega? I mean, because Noriega is one of my, like, if we're going back to the 90s, the War Report, Capone Noriega, Nori, like, I am a big Noriega fan.
Noriega is probably one of the realest people that you'll ever meet before the drink champs. Like, the way that me and Noriega connected on a personal level was the Nike Plus challenge, the Nike Plus app where people used to run against each other. Mm-hmm. Me, DJ Pro Style, Boricua Jimmy, a whole bunch of people was on this this challenge, and Noriega was in it. Mm-hmm. So me and Noriega used to talk so much trash to each other back and forth. So much so we had never met each other in person, and we were at the Heavy Hitter Retreat, and my wife said that she heard him say, "Is that Lonnie B?" And then from that point on, we just kind of connected.
Yeah, man.
And we talked podcasts, and he was telling me that, you know, if I ever thought about doing anything podcast related, get with him because he's already doing his thing. So,
yeah. Go on. We need you going Drink Champs, man.
Yeah.
Go on.
I don't know if I got enough to talk about on there yet, man. Them some hella fire stories on there, man.
Yeah, man.
I got to live a little bit more.
Hey, so we wrapping up, and I like to play a game at the end of each show where I just get you to think fast.
All right.
It's like 10 questions, 10 simple things, okay?
All right. So just first thing to come to my mind.
Yeah, but you are, I can tell in your rap, though, that you Hove influenced. You Hove influenced.
Yeah.
I mean, you like East Coast rap, I would imagine, better than down South rap, West Coast rap, right?
Because that's what I grew up to.
Yeah. So, Fab or Kiss?
Kiss.
Kobe or Braun?
Kobe.
Chicken or fish?
Chicken.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
White or brown?
Brown.
As a kid, who was your hometown hero? Growing up in Richmond, who was it that you looked at that, you know, and you talked about Roy in different ways, but, like, is there anyone that you can, you know, that you like to shout out, that you say, you know, this individual had an impact and inspiration on my life?
If I had to think about where I am right now, I'm sure there's a lot of people. Of course, Uncle Roy would be at the top, but if you take him off, again, I had to give it to Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because Drake showed me everything that I'm doing right now. Drake showed me when we was in high school that it was possible.
Got you.
Yeah.
He's older than you, right?
We were both in the 9th grade. He was maybe a year and a half older than me. But yeah.
He just was DJing before you?
Yeah.
So he kind of set the...
Yeah, Drake. So Drake was DJing in the 9th grade when we met. He was already on the radio.
Got you. Dang.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. That's crazy.
Yeah.
When you was a child, I mean, obviously now you a married man, you know what I'm saying? You got 4 children?
Yeah.
You know, so obviously, Leah, don't get upset with it. But when you was a child, a young man, young Lonnie, who was your childhood crush, celebrity crush? And I'm going to say celebrity because the last person I asked that, it's like, I didn't hit all my jumps. I mean, we ain't talking about local. We talking about celebrity.
Okay. Oh, man. I don't know. Maybe the first person I can remember having a crush on might have been Stacey Lattisaw.
Okay.
Yeah. She was an R&B artist. She had a actually, yeah. So Stacey Lattisaw might have been the first one.
All right. As we close up, Lonnie, please make sure you tell the audience why you rock with the Randy Wilson podcast.
Tell them why.
Tell them, yeah.
Yo, I rock with the Randy Wilson. I rock with the Randy Wilson podcast, man, because it's authentic, man. Like, it doesn't feel like an interview. It feels like just a conversation, man, and he really get you to think. So definitely, and it's brand wise, it's probably one of the best branded podcasts that I've seen in a minute. And I don't even want to limit it to Richmond because, as you know, everybody's doing podcasts.
Yeah.
So I'm sure within the next 20, 30 years, I'm gonna be honored to be episode number 30 on this podcast.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? When you get to like 330,
Yeah.
2,000, you know what I mean?
Well, we got to bring you back, man.
Yeah,
we got to bring you back. I mean,
will.
I like to just put things in the air. Like, I want to podcast is what I'm enjoying, but like I'm working with a team here, and so we're trying to be a media group.
Yeah.
So like we may be following people around in the neighborhood. We may do some, Southside documentaries. We may come in and I don't know. It's really unlimited, you know what I'm saying? But I believe the podcast right now is a service.
Yeah.
And as a service, we're definitely trying to just put people in a place where they know Lonnie B. But they know, but let's listen to Lonnie B. Let's hear, because we don't get a chance to hear Lonnie B as much, you know what I'm saying? So really happy to have you on. And
it's an honor. I think, again, real quick, I know you're about to close it out, but I think it's dope when you have a brand that you're building and I have a brand, and then we merge those brands, and it builds the audience bigger. I think that's what Kelly and I did. That's what a whole bunch of other people did. And real quick before it's all said and done, I never got a chance to say the Whole Foods song.
Yes.
I was honored to be on that song because when I thought about Richmond hip hop at the time, the three guys that was on the record, Radio, Mike, and Nick, in my opinion, were the cream of the crop. If there was a top, So to be on there, number one, it was an honor to be on there with them. And I knew I couldn't, come, halfway on that record.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually had a part here I accidentally overlooked. Definitely want to shout out RVA Rap Elite.
Yeah.
Radio B is doing some phenomenal things with how he's bringing different artists together. And now we got artists coming from the 757, Maryland, coming from all over the state, participating in that event. I believe I've seen you at one of those before.
I've never been.
I saw you at I thought I saw you in a picture. You never been at the old spot? I know they changed that to dark room.
They did one, whatever it was that they did at the Broadberry. I don't know if that was Flag on the Moon.
It was Flag on the Moon.
Yeah, so I was there.
Yeah.
I took a picture with Radio and Mike.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, man. I got a team. I'm one of the coaches for the team. I'm in second place right now. I'm trying to. They try to feel like just we all artists. As far as I'm concerned, we all creating life. Okay.
Yeah.
Radio is like, man, do you think the artists are gonna have an advantage in coaching the teams? I'm like, look, man. I'm out here talking to all the artists, so it's like I'm gonna find a way to win.
So what is coaching the team?
So we have a draft. We actually have a draft tonight. It's gonna be at 8:04 RVA, but you can tune in to RVA Rap Elite on the on IG and watch it live as well. But basically, you got 30 MCs who have entered into the Cypher contest. Radio's got this, this NBA lottery system. So you get your 10 coaches get 3 picks. You got a collective team points, with all 3 MCs. And then there's different opportunities if you win, you may get a beat produced by Name Brand, or you may get to open up at Flag on the Moon, or you may get, a couple hours in the studio with Mike. It's different accolades, but
that's dope.
There's some crazy artists in there. I mean, Richmond rap is on the rise. I know they coining that, but it is because I don't think Richmond music is local anymore. Not that it ever has been, but I think it's beginning to get a little bit more attention in these other places. You've seen the Forbes magazine came here and covered the underground scene. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but
I was. It was interesting.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah. So
the one thing that I will say is I remember being a young artist and I always wanted to shout out Richmond. If you listen to Skills album, Southside Richmond is all I rapped about. There was a producer named the Bedroom Wizard who used to always tell me I need to stop doing that, and I really wasn't hearing them at that moment, but sometimes it's better for people to like your music because of the way that it sounds versus because you're from here. Because they're more intrigued when they hear D'Angelo never said anything about being from Richmond when he dropped Brown Sugar. Everybody's singing Brown Sugar, and if you didn't know, you're like, wait, he from here? That does more for your brand than feeling like you have to force people. You got to support me because I'm from Richmond. So
I understand that.
That's just my 2 cents.
We just shout Virginia out.
Yeah,
it's better to shout Virginia.
Yeah,
I mean, you broaden yourself so everybody.
And again, it's nothing wrong with. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with, but when it comes to making the music, because that was the difference between Lonnie B there's a difference between a rapper and a song maker.
Yeah.
I might have been an incredible rapper, but in hindsight, I don't know how good I was at making songs.
Gotcha.
And that's something that artists really have to look at themselves and be able to say. Cannabis,
Yeah.
hell of a rapper.
Yeah.
LL, incredible song maker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and in that battle, I still think Cannabis beat LL,
Yeah.
but because of his popularity,
Yeah.
he walked away with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just a little 2 cents for whatever.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the 2 cents. My boy Chris was like, "Look, man, you drop your 2 cents on 90 people a day, you can make some things go viral."
Well, it's most that.
Yo, you tuned in to episode 30 of the Randy Wilson Podcast with none other than the heavy hitter Lonnie B. Lonnie, before we close, can you give them your social media handles and how they can learn more about you with the website and all that?
At DJ Lonnie B on everything. Everything is DJ Lonnie B on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, even though I'll never use that. LonnieB.com, DJLonnieB.com. Like, I'm real big on branding. Everything has to be the same. So if there is a platform, just search for DJ Lonnie B.
Got you. Please make sure you subscribe to the Randy Wilson Podcast. Make sure you share. And we appreciate you tuning in.
In 92, I drew graffiti on notebooks with my markers. Look at me now, leaving my mark on my market. If I talk it, I walk it. In this city, I run it. When it come to this music scene, let's keep it 100. And I'm high off for life, homie. No need to get blunted. When you had cancer and prayer help you walk away from it. Hold up.